Well, it looked for a while like we're going to just have to hold on and, you know, face the barrage of what those guards and Durant can do to us. But we got a couple stops and we're able to finish that game off.
The last night played out a lot like today. You had a 12-point lead, they cut it way down. This time you were able to kind of stem the tide in the fourth quarter. What was the difference between the Clipper game and tonight?
Well, I told our bench crew that you know, they did a great job coming out there in the fourth quarter and giving us 5 or 6 minutes of play, and came off the court with a 6-7 point lead, and you were able to, you know, hand it back to the starters and, you know, give them the rest they needed to go out there and sustain the effort. There were a number of things that we did better. Shot the ball obviously at 50%. Shot our three-pointers a little bit better than we have, and you know, some of those things are conducive. But I thought our defense was, you know, we gave up some, but we kept them under 100 points, which is important.
So what do you think about Derek Fisher's game tonight? He's going to be really solid, active.
Did I see that as a season high?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah. That says something right there. Besides, I thought his defense was really good. You know, he helped out, was able to stop some things out there on the floor.
Durant had 24 points, but he took 24 shots to get there. Will you take that?
Yeah, that's a good job defensively. You know, he averages 28 or whatever. That's a good job to keep him under 7.
The way you played and considering the opponent, is this as good a win as you've had all season?
Well, I'm not going to go that far, but you know, it's a good win for us. We've been playing better. We know that we've, you know, got a ways to improve, some things to do. But our intensity was right. On a back-to-back night, we you know, we had the energy necessary to win against a very young and active team.
How would you describe Howe's game tonight?
First half, I was concerned about him. You know, I thought he was shooting the ball, you know, more just kind of flipping it up or not taking the kind of, you know, solid base shots that he needs to take. Second half, he's much better. You know, seemed to get in the flow, make some good plays.
He's had more slow starts, I guess, this year than the last 2 or 3 weeks. I guess maybe it's basing or whatever relative to last year. What do you think he's playing to?
I can't. You have to ask him about that. I'd be curious to know what he'd say.
Phil, from the start of the game, Kobe had 5 assists before he had 5 shot attempts.
Yes.
And he ended up with, you know, 7 assists, 12 shot attempts. You mentioned after the Cleveland win, which was really big, that you liked the way Kobe approached that facilitator. Was that him choosing to do that tonight, or the defense kind of giving him those options? Or?
Well, you know, I thought there was a couple times he had shots to take and he made the passes, and I thought he got the right guys going. I thought he got Fish going, and that was really important. You know, I think you know, he got some of the big guys' balls in places they could operate, and I like that activity. And you know, he found his own space in the game later on.
Did you notice Kobe being extra emotional tonight? It seemed like he was doing a lot of talking and cajoling and scolding too.
Well, you know, he had a handful with you know, Russell Westbrook out there. So he's trying to get some guys to give him some help on some of those screens, and you know, because it's a one dribble and he's at the rim from that free throw line on. So you know, he's trying to encourage his teammates to get up and give him some help.
Would you like to avoid using him on Westbrook so extensively? Or is it...
No, you know, that's. I think it's really good training. I've, you know, many years have, you know, encouraged him to be on-ball defender. It does exhaust him. I know that's a little more exhausting than a normal, you know, chase or, you know, covering out. But you know, we're going to end up, you know, with Boston and a number of teams as we go through this month, and you know, Kobe ends up taking, you know, guys that are point guards that have that ability, that he can help out with his length and his quickness.
Was there anything the Thunder team did to prepare you guys in the first round of the playoffs last year to take through the ensuing rounds in the championship?
You know, I thought our offensive execution last year was what had to improve, and you know, I think that, you know, the series against Oklahoma helped us think it out, and so we could act it out in a later series. And I thought it got us going. You know, obviously the Utah series, we were going as well as we played.
How much did the loss last night inspire the team to come out and play with greater
No,
intensity?
they weren't happy about the loss last night. I'm sure that was a motivation of some sort. had a 12-point lead in the second half and just kind of gave it up of our own volition. Clippers did take advantage, but we took wild shots, threw the ball away, and did do things that I thought was good offensive purpose.
Yeah, it was similar to yesterday. You had late game situation where you went a long time without scoring. But well, defensively it worked tonight. But is there something specific that's not happening in late game offensive situations?
Well, I thought it was a lot of stand around and watch guys dribble instead of movement and player movement. That's what the coach wants to see. But a lot of times they're going to give space to guys. I mean, Powell had the ball one time for 10 seconds, maybe more, on the side, and they came down and doubled him, and then he had to give it up late in the clock. And Kobe had numbers of open opportunities out there in a one-on-one situation. Guys left him alone out there to attack, and he's been great over the years at that. But at that time of the game, I like to see some activity.
What do you attribute their three-point shooting to?
Which is theirs.
Sorry, Oklahoma City, 2 for 22?
They are one of the lower three-point shooting teams in the league in three-point, But 2 for 22 is, similar to what we did, against the Clippers the other night. Some nights you're going to have nights that it doesn't go in, and, they've got some three-point shooters that are very effective, but, they're not one of the top ones in the league.
So that's something you kind of live with? I mean, when you see them start shooting threes, that's a good thing for you?
Yeah, it depends upon who it is. Harden's a 40% three-point shooter, and Durant's going to make shots out there. He's a prolific shooter, and but it's not their game. Their game is a different game.
You mentioned Rondo and of course Westbrook. Is it the rule changes that have made these athletic, quick guards so devastating? Derrick Rose. You make a long list of guys like that.
I don't know what I could attribute to this prolific guard crew that we've got coming in, and I think Wall's going to be there someday when he gets some more experience. I think a lot of teams have looked for point guards. We're seeing a bigger sort now. We saw some very small ones, that short guys that came in the league with Chris Paul and series of draft choices that I think Minnesota had with Flynn and kid that they traded off to Denver. Subsequently, subsequently we saw a lot of guys that are 6 feet and under as point guards. But when you got a guy like Westbrook or you got a guy like Rose, they're 6'3" and bigger and can go to the basket and dunk the ball. It makes a whole big difference to defending a point guard.